Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. We do have breaking news from Detroit's west side. Police are swarming all over a home near Linden and Schaefer, where an 8-year-old boy has been shot in the head, rushed to the hospital. Victor Williams on the scene for us. Victor, some adults in that home, I understand, are facing a lot of questions at this hour.
Yeah, that's right, Karen. And the biggest one is really, how could anyone let something like this happen? We're over here right now on Snowden Street, right at the home where that 8-year-old was shot in the head somewhere around noon. 4 children between the ages of 1 and 8 were inside the house when this happened. Now, somehow, some way, one of them got a hold of an unsecured gun. And sadly, this is the result. What's even crazier about this story is that there were 4 adults in the house allegedly sleeping when the incident took place, yet no one was able to call 911 for about 30 minutes after the child was shot. That is according to police out here on the scene. The child is now in the hospital recovering. So far, we're told that it's not looking too good in terms of just how bad the injury is. He is in critical condition and is undergoing surgery. We're not sure if this was a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head or if another child somehow got a hold of the weapon. Unfortunately, this is the scene as it's playing out with officers investigating. We're told that they're still at this point looking for the weapon. Now, either way, Chief White says he's fed up with the fact that this is something that continues to happen over and over again.
Where it did not have to happen. We did not have to have another young child in our community shot, and we should be sick and appalled by it and just absolutely tired of it. And everybody who's gun obsessed or just want to, exercise their rights to have a gun should understand the responsibility of having a gun when you have children in a home.
Now, DPD has already ID'd 1 adult in the house that allegedly has a history of illegal gun use. We're also told that Child Protective Services has been out here multiple times. The most recent case was just a few days ago. So really, it's just a tragic scene right here on Detroit's west side. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Heartbreaking. All right, thank you, Victor. We know that you'll be working the scene and keep us updated. We'll check back at 5. Well, we do have another big story, as the parents of the Oxford High School shooter will be going to trial, and a jury will decide if James and Jennifer Crumbley bear any responsibility for the deaths of 4 students. Kimberly Gill joins us with more on that ruling. And Kim, this could be a precedent-setting case. The nation's watching.
And yes, you're right. Good afternoon to you. The Crumbleys will be the first parents in America charged in a school shooting perpetrated by their child. Their son was 15 years old at the time of the shooting. That was in November of 2021. James and Jennifer Crumbley have made several court appearances since their arrest in December of 2021. They've been behind bars, charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in the death of 4 students. Prosecutors accuse the Crumbleys of making a gun accessible to their son and ignoring his mental health needs. Today, Michigan's highest court rejected their efforts to get the charges dismissed. Defense attorneys have argued the shooting was not foreseeable and their parenting decisions don't rise to the level of involuntary manslaughter, which carries a maximum prison sentence of 15 years, by the way. So far, there's no word on how quickly the Crumbleys might head to trial. We'll, of course, keep you posted. Their son, though, has pleaded guilty to several charges, including murder. He'll be sentenced December 8th, and a judge just ruled, you may remember last Friday, that he will be eligible for life without parole in spite of his age. For now, Karen, we'll send it back to you.
All right, lots of developments in that story. Thanks, Kim. We're also following breaking news on Capitol Hill, where a small group of Republicans is trying to oust Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. Florida's Matt Gaetz filed what's called a motion to vacate the chair. There was a move to table that vote, but it failed. Republicans have a very thin majority in the House, and McCarthy would need Democratic votes to keep his job. The debate over his removal started in the past hour. So if McCarthy is removed, he would become the first Speaker to ever be ousted with a resolution to remove. Right now, the vote just started. Let's go live right now. These are live pictures from the House floor. You may remember McCarthy faced a similar tense battle to win the speakership back in January. Once again, Democrats say they will not back the Speaker. We're monitoring this minute by minute. We'll bring you updates as needed, and of course tonight at 5. General Motors' newest third-quarter sales results won't give the UAW much reason to dial down its demands. Today, the automaker is reporting a 21% increase in sales from July to September compared to last year when the industry was dealing with supply chain issues. Now, that news comes the day after the union reportedly submitted a new counteroffer to GM during negotiations Monday. GM told the Free Press it's assessing that offer, but significant gaps remain. Negotiations continue with Ford and Stellantis as well, but no word on any breakthroughs there. We'll have updates on this tonight at 5 and 6. Former Detroit Police Chief James Craig is giving politics another try with a bid for the U.S. Senate. He enters the Republican field with this video that he released today.
Americans want better, right? And they want something different, and we're going to give it to them.
James Craig has made some noise about getting in.
Let the audience know you are running for an open seat in your state, right?
I'm Chief James Craig, and I'm running for U.S. Senate.
Craig's first run for office ended when he was kicked off the ballot in the 2022 governor's race. He was one of 5 Republicans, if you remember. They were removed because of fraudulent nominating petitions. Craig denied any wrongdoing. Craig is the second candidate with widespread name recognition to join the GOP primary. The other is former Congressman Mike Rogers. They are among the candidates on your screen right there, seeking the seat that will be empty thanks to the retirement of Democrat Debbie Stabenow. Well, if you got to vote on the forecast, today's summer-like weather would probably win by a landslide. Kim Adams, tracking temperatures in the 80s in early October.
I know, isn't it crazy?
It's crazy.
It's so beautiful. Crystal blue skies. It's just a gorgeous day. 82 degrees in Detroit. Look at Howell, 84. Adrian is at 87 degrees. Record for today is 89, so we're not going to get there, but close enough. 85 in downtown Detroit, 83 in Pontiac. Tomorrow we go right back into the 80s, 84 for the high. Tomorrow should be the warmest day of the week. And then the bottom falls out and it is back to reality. And we'll talk about that coming up in the forecast.
All right. Thank you, Kim. It is a very busy news day. We've got breaking news out of Southgate right now. Take a look. A senior apartment community engulfed in flames. Fire crews are on the scene. They're trying to get the fire under control. You can see that smoke just billowing into the air. Now it's clear many units are already destroyed. No word, though, on how many residents live in the Meadows of Southgate community or if rescues are actively underway. We do see dozens of ambulances standing by, which is quite common in a scene like this. We do have a crew on the way on the ground and obviously Sky 4 up above. So we'll be keeping a close eye on this fire at a senior apartment community in Southgate for you. A New York judge has put a partial gag order on former President Donald Trump in his civil fraud trial. The judge acted after Trump shared a negative social media post about a key court staffer. The judge says personal attacks on his staff are unacceptable. Earlier during a court break, Trump told reporters he plans to take the stand at what he calls the appropriate time. He's on trial, accused of lying about his personal wealth and assets. The United Kingdom is moving to ban cell phones in schools for the entire day. No surprise, it's a decision that's really sparking more conversation on this side of the pond. England's Education Secretary, a member of the ruling Conservative Party, made the announcement today. She says it's necessary to combat distractions and also cyberbullying. The new guidelines go further than current rules, trying to prevent students from using phones even during breaks or between classes. Still, each school will have the autonomy to decide how or if they enforce the ban. Paula Tutman visited the Romeo Community School District, where school administrators love this idea, but also have a reality check. So give us their thoughts, Paula.
Okay, well, start with how do you get a cell phone out of the hands of a teenager? Well, you could replace it with a volleyball or maybe some other rules. But at the same time, it also does beg the question, could anything like this really happen in the States? It's lunchtime and the cell phones have come out with a vengeance. Can you imagine a full hour or more without the ability to scroll, text, or click? The Romeo Community School District is just one of many that thinks it would be great to be able to ban cell phones during school hours, but...
Great concept. Not going to happen. There's absolutely no way that that will go in this day and age in public education.
District Superintendent Dr. Todd Robinson says there may have been a time when the district might have been able to even broach the idea, but not anymore.
In the era of the craziness of our world and these school shootings and that, our families are concerned, and so we've had to find that balance.
And while you might think it's a foregone conclusion on how students feel about this, it is not.
I do not think they're necessary in school because kids are playing games on them because they're not allowed, so that means they want to go on them even more.
But Levi, just like his pal Mia, also get the security issues.
And if something happens in the school and like you need to contact your parents and things like that, but like if they're kept in their backpack, I feel like it's okay.
During the school day at lunchtime, I do let them use their phones just because they don't have to hide them. They can openly use them and communicate with parents or do anything they need to do during that time.
Dr. David Rosenberg, the chair of Wayne State University's School of Psychiatry, has been studying cell phones and the human brain for more than a decade.
So we have some fascinating studies that show that there's brain damage similar to what you'd see in a cocaine addict with excess use of digital devices and the internet. So it's a scary issue that we have to get a better handle on.
He says he'd be completely on board with dismissing cell phones from the premises during school hours. But since it's not likely to happen,
parenthood is not a democracy. At best, it's a benevolent dictatorship, and we can turn things around if we step up to that challenge.
Yeah, he's doing some really fascinating research, and it's that parent versus pal kind of thing. And he says, listen, they're not going to go away. And so what parents can do is they can definitely cement those ideas that phones are not to be used in class and to follow those classroom rules and only use them in the case of emergency during school hours, Karen.
So many opinions on this one, that's for sure. All right, thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.